Okay, we're going. Ready?
Uh-huh.
What is your full name?
Mary Catherine Bastine Colbert,
When is your birthday?
August 10th, 1932.
How old are you?
I'm 79 and a little more than a half years old.
What was your first job?
My first full-time job, I worked at a garment factory before I was married here in Troy.
How much did you get paid?
50 cents an hour to start, and then after a certain period, when you became a member of the union, it would be 75 cents an hour.
Did you enjoy your job?
I enjoyed what I could learn about sewing, and I enjoyed most of it. In the summertime, though, it was awfully hot because you were just in this great big building with all these machines running, and they had huge fans up in the air blowing directly on you, and it was not exactly
So there
enjoyable.
wasn't air conditioning.
No air conditioning, and it was a huge building, and it wouldn't have been feasible, I don't think, to air condition it.
Okay. How are jobs today different from back when you first started working?
Much more technology, and it seems to me like maybe speed is emphasized more than doing your job well.
Papa died January 9th, 1969, correct?
Yes,
How old was he?
he was 38 years old.
What did he die from?
He had leukemia. It was the complications of leukemia that he actually died from, but leukemia was the real cause.
Another question I forgot to put down that I'm going to surprise you with. How did you help pay for like the chemotherapy and all the complications with having leukemia?
He he was a veteran, and so he went down to the Veterans Hospital in St. Louis, and they took care of the expenses that way.
So they paid for
They paid
everything.
for it, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How many children did you have at the time of Papa's death?
Well, I almost had 8. The eighth one was born about 6 weeks after he died.
When did you go back to work after Daddy was born?
Well, I dabbled part-time here, there, and the other place while I raised my children. Some of it was babysitting, and then I did various other things. Um, Full-time probably would have been in the early 1980s because I took some college course. I got my GED, and then I took college courses to learn to be a medical transcriptionist. And I did the job of medical transcriptionist and tumor registrar at a hospital.
Did you enjoy doing that?
That I found much more interesting than anything else I'd done up till then, other than raising children. Raising my family was, that was the best experience in my lifetime, I'd say.
When you were working part-time jobs, how many jobs were you juggling at one time?
Uh, I was going to college. I had my homemaking job and my parenting jobs, and then I think I had 2 part-time jobs.
Do you remember what they were?
One was cleaning at a brand new big rectory, church rectory, and it did get very dirty. And the other one I worked as, I did secretarial work for an Episcopalian priest.
Okay. Tell me about raising 8 children and working, being a single parent.
Well, it's very, very challenging. I'd say you're divided, because when you're at work, you're concerned about what's going on at home when you have that many. And then you meet yourself coming, because there's always some kind of work to do. I think that's about.
Did you have the older ones stay and watch the youngins while you were at work?
Some of them, some of the time, yes. I didn't, of course, they were not babies when I started working full time. The part-time thing I tried to do mostly when they were in school. And then when I went full time, they were not little children in the 80s, early 1980s. But yes, over the years, the older ones had to look out for the younger ones and be responsible, learn to cook and have supper ready, because the one part-time job was in the evening cleaning offices after the people went home from work, so it interfered with cooking supper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they had to pitch in. They had to learn very much how to get along with each other and how to work.
Did you have to budget to be able to handle all the finances with the groceries and making the bills?
I didn't do it on paper, but yes, in my head, I budgeted. And I've learned a lot all my life, even before I was a widow, how to handle money carefully, get the most out of a dollar.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you could have done some of the same things in today's world that you did after Papa died?
Oh, yes, you'd have done some of the same things, only I think now it would be harder, because there seems to be such an obsession with don't miss an hour or a day of work.
Mm-hmm.
And back there then, in the later part of my time, when my hearing started failing me and I had to quit the transcriptionist job, I moved into being a medical records clerk. And I kind of lost my train of thought. When I went in there, I had a very good, flexible boss.
Mm-hmm.
Who would work with you. And if you had an emergency with the children that you had to be a little later in the morning coming in, she would let you make that time up.
Do you think, like you said, you budgeted in your head, do you think you would have to put it down on paper now that milk is almost $3 a gallon and gas is almost $4?
Well, as I said, I'm almost 80 years old, but I still have a very good head when it comes to these figures. I still now, with my set limited income, I work it out in my head.
Well, now I lost my train of thought. This is contagious.
Some people call it a senior moment.
Okay, I'm having a senior moment.
You are a senior this year.
What would you say about today's youth and how they operate?
I guess the only thing I can say is thank God I raised my children and I'm not raising them now. It was a big challenge in the 60s and mostly in the 70s and 80s. And I think that there's many, many more opportunities for young people now, there's also many, many more temptations or chances to flub up. And some people don't want to give a young person a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where any of us would be if we didn't have second chances. So I guess if I was advising parents, I'd say find time to listen, love your children as much as you can, and when they do something good, praise them for it.
Is there anything else you would like to say about the economy, young people, or just about anything in general?
The world in general right now is in a moral decay that is the basis for destroying our country. And I feel like at the moment we have the closest to a dictator in the presidency that we have ever had in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're told it's this way, accept it. And it will be what I said I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Accept it. I guess that's my soapbox for today. But you go back to the young people. Years ago, there was someone in the communist nation said they would conquer America without even firing a shot. They would do it through the young people, by disrupting the young people. And when young people don't have the solid foundation in their home, a lot of times no two parents, one poor hard-working woman or one poor hard-working man is trying to raise his children while he's making a living and keeping the pace in today's world. The lack of respect for each other is a big, big problem. Because if you don't respect each other, there's no way you can love each other. And love isn't sex. Love is bearing with, accepting, respecting another person through sickness and in health.
We quoting wedding vows now?
Well, it goes in there, sickness and health. You take it as it is. And you don't walk out. You don't throw a tizzy fit and say, hey, this is it. You work things out. And you respect each other in that. I think I ran out of words.
Are you done?
I think so.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions?
Not unless you have more you want to say.
Well, I probably have more I want to say, but I can't think of it now.
Okay, then I guess we'll be done.